everybody? Welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes and Coffee. Today, I want to tell you about something that recently happened to me. Something that kind of put me off. During this pandemic, I thought, what an awesome time to learn a new skill set, to learn how to craft, something I've always wanted to do. So I got on YouTube, I've been reading on all these internet forums and learning about tools and in and out of Home Depot and just living my best life. And I had this vision for this object that I wanted to create. I won't tell you what it is or what it is for because it's not as pertinent to this story. And I worked really hard on it. And after about 5 or 6 tries, I finally got it the way I wanted it to be. Although it took some work, I was very proud of my creation because of what I made it for. It did it perfectly each and every time the way I liked it. And I was pleased with myself. So I thought, let me call one of my good friends because I know that he will be interested in what I've done. And I know that because he is into these type of crafts, he would also be pleased. So when I called my friend over, I said, hey, take a look at this object that I've created. I showed him what it did and how it did it. And I explained to him, it does it perfectly each and every single time. And he looked at my object and he said, you know, I get that it does what you need it to do, but it could be better. This object here that you made flat, it should have more of a curved feel to it. And then he looked at another piece and said, this part should be a bit more shiny. I don't know why you made it so dull. When he said this, I had to look at him and try to figure out whether or not he was just giving me constructive criticism or was there something else going on. So I said, I get that I could have done that, but it didn't work for what I needed it to do. And then he doubled down and said, well, it's not good because you need to change these different items. And at this point, I couldn't tell if there was a hint of jealousy or if there was something else going on. I could not figure out why my friend was not being supportive. So from that point on, our friendship soured a bit, and I haven't spoken to this friend in some weeks now. Now, before some of you want to come and defend my honor, I want you to know that this story is completely false. There's nothing about this story that is true. I still cannot craft anything. However, I did want to illustrate a point that me and you and everyone that we know are God's creation. God took his time and he created us. He gave us life. With his infinite wisdom and his mighty power, he created us. So how can we say to his creations, you are not good enough? We are heading into a season of elections and politics, and this is a time where many of us get lost in the weeds and forget that we have to conduct ourselves as Christians. So before you share that post or you respond to that person, ask yourself, is this person my brother in Christ? Would I really tell God's creation that they are unintelligent or some word that doesn't describe them in a flattering way? We may not say it as, God, your creation is not made right. But when we say things such as, you're not smart or I don't like you and I'm using this in the nicest way that I can, what we are saying is the way that God created that individual, we don't like because they don't think like us or they don't look like us or they don't believe the same things that we believe. We have to be careful that we do not, as Christians, stop being the light of this world. Even in other areas, we have to be sure that we are displaying the love of Christ. We have to be careful of telling people from other countries that we don't like them. We have to be careful of telling people who speak other languages that we don't like them. And we may not say it as directly as we do, but we have to be careful about the actions that we choose because each and every one of us are God's creations. And we have to remember, once we put on Christ, it is Christ first, not self first. And if you do or don't agree with what I'm saying, and you profess to be a Christian, then at least do this. Is what I'm about to do going to show love to God's creation, or is it going to tear down God's creation? If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with one person. And if you could, please leave a review. This is Jerry with 5 Minutes and Coffee.